Yes, afternoon.
Yeah, what time is it there?
It is 4 p.m. here.
4 p.m. Yeah. Lovely
I wanted to,
afternoon.
yes, I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
Of course, man. Of course. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
How was the recording process this time around for you?
Well, we did a little bit of some of the things during the pandemic, which
Hmm.
was obviously awkward. But it was a recording process with this time around compared to the first album. We did it on our own studio.
Oh,
So we recorded the drums in a separate room, but then the guitars, the vocals, the bass guitar, we did it all in our place. And then we have a good friend of ours that we've known for a while, and he was the one who did the mixing and the master of the album. So it was a kind of risky move to do things just ourselves, just to record the entire thing ourselves without any producer nearby or any sound engineer nearby tweaking things. So was fun because we were allowed to sort of explore a little bit more. So was cool. Was a nice twist from the first album.
I wanted to ask you as well, in having those liberties, did you feel that the band was more unified in working together?
Well, for sure. So the way we work, we basically the writing process starts with the basic things, a few riffs here and there, and we kind of now with this the technology nowadays, it's easy for us to share the information, and we send the guitar riffs to one another, and and start hitting the drums and the bass, and we can do that stuff basically at home primarily. And once we get the songs assembled, that's when we kind of get together and listen to those demos all together. That's when the difference this time around was, even after having those rough demos, we would listen to them together. So no need to play these songs yet, but you know, a good understanding in how the
Sure.
band's sounds. And so we got together, listened to the full demos that we had, and that's when we kind of all together started tweaking things here and there. The drums specifically, we did those with Superior Drummer for the demos, so it was kind of easy. Like, yeah, there's one too many kick drums in this part, or this cymbal, I want to use a China here, not the crash. So we kind of started tweaking things around so we had a better understanding how the song, how we wanted the song to be. So that probably was a cool experience from the first album, which we kind of, you know, wrote it all and then all went to the studio and recorded. So it was no first human interaction in terms of it was literally being produced by someone else, not the band. So this time around, we kind of produced it ourselves. One of the guitar players that actually joined the band um, during sort of kind of the first stage of the pandemic, which was weird, but to join anything in a moment that the world was
Sure.
completely shutting down
Oh, sure.
was weird. But he joined the band. We've met years ago, so it was a good friend of ours. So he was kind of the producer. We call it the fresh ear of the band. So he was the one who, well, you guys in the first album had something, very characteristic of yours, like the maybe the choruses or the
Hmm.
instrumental sections. So it was actually a very fresh insight to the band. So we started kind of producing those demos. And by the time the demos were sort of, we were pleased with them. Now was the real time to, okay, now let's get the best takes of each one of us, and that's how it went.
And I wanted to ask you about something you can't be. How it came to you and why you chose it as a single and a video.
Yeah, good question. So first of all, "Something You Can't Be" was one of those songs, exactly as I was telling you, the new guitar player that joined the band. So we have, by the way, so my name is Andre, I'm the bass player and singer. Jorge Martins is the solo guitar player and rhythm. And Andre Lopes was the new guitar player that joined the band. And Pedro Rijo was the guy who was the drummer. Um, so the song "Something You Can't Be" was one of the first songs the guitar player, Andre, actually said, this song is just perfect, but it's missing something. And it's, what is it missing? It's missing a chorus, which was hilarious because, well, so the most important part of the song, it's basically missing. So that was one of the first songs we kind of produced um, with him and kind of all together. And the result was, pretty cool. The chorus, it's just, very, wide open, very singable, very catchy. And then, funny enough, when we started mastering and mixing the album, that was the first song. It was sent to us, kind of the first version of the mixing, and we were just blown away with
Right.
how good it sounded. How oh, this song is incredible. We were so proud of the final product. So obviously, then we got to listen to all of the tracks. And that first song, I don't know if it was that thing, the love at first sight, but because it was the first track delivered to us and it was very catchy, it was kind of, I think this is going to be this the first single. And same thing, obviously we wanted to invest in that song. So the actually the clip that we did, the music video, we kind of trying, obviously, as any band nowadays, trying to save as much money as possible. And music videos are expensive. We had
Sure.
just recorded the album and paid the mixing and all these things. So we kind of with a few friends that we know and camera guys that we've known throughout the years and that we trust, that we like their work, we sort of text them and said, well, I have an idea for a simple idea for this clip. If we can find a nice, sort of black room, um, and all the lights you see, for example, in the video are LED bars that we already have in the band. Every time we perform, we have those, basically all the lights and the fog machines and everything. We
Sure.
had that, so we didn't have to rent anything and spend that money. So we were kind of working with what we had, and so that's what we did. So we found the room, and the song was would be the single, and we were very proud of it. And so that's what we did. We shot the video in that exact room. Obviously the video, the edition of the video, the editing of the video, it's just phenomenal. Because when we saw those first sort of raw footages, we
Mhm.
were kind of, oh my God, this, we look like a school band. But obviously all the editing and post production made it just phenomenal. So very, very proud of the album and the clip.
I wanted to ask if you could speak on my favorite song, which is Devil's Call. I love that track. I
Oh,
jam it
awesome.
all the time. I
Thank you.
wanted to ask if you could speak on how that one came to you.
Well, it's a pretty cool one. So, uh, Devil's Call. This is a kind of a was something that personally to me. So I write the lyrics, even though obviously all the other guys have the input, their perspective. So during the pandemic, this was kind of maybe after the first lockdown, or even during the first lockdown, something really crazy happened here in the capital in Lisbon. This was a young kid that met with his girlfriend. So we were not supposed to sort of,
Mm,
be outside and. So they met and supposedly they got in an argument, and you know, he ended up, killing his girlfriend, and it was all over the news because um, they started looking for. So he actually joined the investigation with the police, and he was I here in the capital we live, or where I live, and when this happened, it's by the river, the Tagus River. So they actually were sort of looking for in the in that periphery, in that area, and the river was close by, and they started realizing that it was possible that somehow, someone uh, would have harmed her, or did something. And the river is always one of those places where, if you want to get rid of something, it's right there. So basically, we ended up discovering a few days later that he actually admitted to kill his girlfriend because of a fight, and they found her body in the river, and they were really young. They were in their early 20s, and
Wow.
that specific situation, obviously got very um, affected me a lot,
Mm.
especially because we were going through just a unprecedented times, not
Sure.
knowing what's going to happen and how bad is this. We all thought this is going to be a week and we'll be all okay, and then 2 weeks and a month went by and we were all still stuck at home. So I started writing about this, how bad, how dark can your mind be, how lost can you be to go that far off and harm someone that you supposedly you love, and being so young. And this was very interesting. By the time uh, probably a month went by, so I probably had already basically the entire lyric almost sort of together, and I heard that he committed suicide, so he killed himself in the prison, and that was kind of, oh my God, that's just coward. That's so
Mm.
sad. So I kind of rewrote a few of the lines because you did what you did, and you're not even man up. You didn't man up yourself to
Right.
just at least take the consequences of your acts. So that was a pretty. Most of the lyrics, to be honest with you, are very sort of day-to-day things and things that happen, in your life and with your
Mm.
family, with your love life, or just in a day-to-day things. But that specific one, Devil's Call, it's literally there's a devil in all of us, a demon in all of us, but we tamed it, and we were able to be
Sure.
civilized and live our lives. So that one was a pretty messed up one. I love that song too. Gonna go out saying that I'm a huge fan. The entire band, we're all huge fans of Megadeth, um, and so that has a little bit of that,
Sure.
Megadeth-ish vibe. So we love that.
I also wanted to ask you if you could speak on the album artwork and the artist that was involved.
So the artist is a girl that we met a couple of years ago, and she's also a very young artist. And the interesting thing was she had never worked. I approached her, and she had never worked with any metal band per se, and she didn't know quite what to do. So we tested a few things out, and we actually wanted, kind of a different, simple, maybe unexpected cover from a metal band, like a Black Dove. It's not something you would expect from a,
Sure.
heavy metal band or a thrash metal band. The cover itself, so we kind of change around ideas, and I told her that this is, we thought of the name Hope Wears Black because in a song called Venom, one of our songs called Venom, there's a line that I wrote, Hope dresses black, meaning that we musicians and metal musicians, our kind of outfit, our our
Persona.
armor. It's
Hmm.
always black pants, black t-shirt, very
Sure.
simple, but it's we feel like that outfit kind of completes us on stage. So that's why the Hope dresses black. It's kind of that's our hope as in the world and as musicians. So when we came across that idea, Hope dresses black didn't sounded right to us. So we kind of changed it to Hope wears black like Devil wears Prada.
Sure.
So that was the first thing. So what can connect all of these things? Hope. We thought of obviously a white dove, and wears black. What we can't dress the dove, wearing
Right.
anything
Sure.
black. That would be ridiculous. Yeah. What about a black dove? Well, that is cool. So that's kind of how it came across. And so we asked her, could you draw, you know, um, a black dove and sort of with the wings open and nothing else, just maybe a sort of a kind of a beam of light, but something very very simple. So we did a few tweaks here and there and she got it right. So she did the the lettering of the album, the Hope wears black, and the dove, and also the the back cover. um, yeah, she did it all, and she's very proud, and we're very proud of her because it was her first sort of heavy metal,
Yeah.
cover. So she did very well.
I wanted to ask you as well, what can fans look for next? What's the next step for you?
Well, we're trying as hard as we can to obviously heavily promote this album. It's only the second album. I don't know if you know, but Portugal, it's not a big country. Portugal, it's not a country that supports, metal bands. It's not like Sweden or,
Right. Sure.
those countries are, very strong when it comes to, music in general, but especially in the metal world. So we're working indoors first, meaning we're trying to get a few shows here in Portugal, a few nice festivals, and trying to get to do more stuff like this that we love, interviews and obviously promoting the album and, spreading the word. So we just came from two nice festivals. We did the last one on the 20th. This month, there's already a few, um, pictures on, and footages on our Facebook, and we kind of keep posting a few of them on Instagram also. So I think for the future is, uh, we need to play, we need to perform live. That's the most important thing. I don't think we'll be able to put a tour together. Maybe a few shows in between Portugal and Spain at the moment. We don't know if we're going to get something else in the near future. We hope we do. I think the album is actually getting a pretty good reaction. We kind of look at the
Absolutely.
number of listeners and on Spotify and these things. So we're, like any musician, but especially speaking for the metal community, we just have to commit to it, keep working hard. Um, but one thing we're doing already, actually, to avoid the gap that we had between the first album, which came out on 2016, and
Hmm.
the second album, it's 8 years later. It's
Sure.
it's it's a long time. So we're actually sort of already writing stuff, ideas, even while this album is still just so fresh. We're trying to
Right.
anticipate if we're not gonna do, if we don't tour enough, or if we don't have too many shows with this second album, at least, we're gonna try to reinforce our work by having a third one in a near future. But concerts, we're gonna be, um, we're gonna try to promote this the best we can, and be more present on social media and everything, because we're a very kind of a private band when it comes to, being exposed in social media. We
Sure.
kind of work a lot in studios, and we love to write it, play together, and all these things. But definitely, what we're here for is to play live and to you know, um, take our music to the fans. So that's what they should expect.
I want to ask you as well, how did this all start? How did the band become a reality?
Well, the band kind of started around 2010, 2011 with a different lineup. Once again, all lovers of fans of Metallica and Megadeth and Sepultura and Pantera. And I'm a huge fan, so is Jorge, the solo guitar player of Dream Theater, sort of kind of a more progressive side of a little bit of In Chaos. It's also there because of Dream Theater. So we kind of got together and started, playing, covers that we love and with that first lineup and started writing the first songs and one thing led to another. So we actually did here in Portugal sort of, I think it was the Guitar Euro thing that Metallica launched or something like that.
Hmm.
And we were invited to play a few Metallica songs um, with the lineup that we had for In Chaos at the time. And we said, okay, we'll do that if you allow us to play a couple of our songs,
Sure.
original songs. And obviously they said, of course you can. So that was kind of the first appearance of the band live. And then, as you probably know, for any musician or any band, there's always, lineup changes and, one guy leaves, another one comes in and, it took a long time for us to get it right and get a stable band. But then, yeah, and with the recording of the first album, I think things for all of us got a little more serious. Like, okay, now we have an album,
Right.
uh, and that was an interesting step. But same thing, we changed lineup one more time after the recording of the first album. And then it's ups and downs. One step forward, two steps back, and then
Hmm.
we just have to keep working, keep believing. But the band kind of started like that, almost like a not quite a cover band, but playing the stuff we love, and one
Hmm.
thing led to another. So that's kind of how it started.
I wanted to ask you personally, how did it start for you? At what age did you begin your love of music, and how did it progress from there?
Well, for me specifically, I started playing bass, where I started in a music school when I was probably around 12 or 13, learning piano. And I, you know, after a couple of years, I wanted to have a little bit more freedom, meaning move around on stage. And I still love to play, um, piano. And I'm actually sitting in my desk, and so there's a piano in front of me, and so I still love to play piano, and it's good because you do get a different understanding of harmony and chords and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I wanted to do something else and have more freedom, and since I was in a music school, my piano teacher told me, there's always a bunch of guitar players around. Always a bunch of drummers, but there's almost no bass players, and we're always searching for bass players. There's a lot of, you know, guys here
Right.
in the school that will always ask if there's any bass player good enough to, join a band or something. So I said, well, maybe that's, what I'm gonna do. So, um, got home, told my parents, you know what, I'm switching instruments. Um, and luckily, my parents, I started, those first lessons just for them to make sure, we're
Sure.
not gonna buy him a bass and, an amp and everything. And, a couple days later, it's, nope, this is not my thing.
Right. Sure.
So yeah, I started sort of learning and all the music theory and everything, and then they bought me my first bass, which was a four-string bass collection with a Warwick combo, one of those,
Hmm.
just a combo. Um, and was a love that I never knew I had for that specific instrument. And yeah, from there, from then on, I kept, learning more and listening to. I'm 40 years old, so I'm not that old, but no internet to get, for example,
Sure.
the bass solo of Cliff Burton. And this is something I vividly remember trying to learn it on a cassette tape. I would have to pull it back, a
Hmm.
thousand times to learn that
Yes.
bass solo. And I had such a blast, and I still love to play it today. Then I remember I moved up to a five-string bass, and then thanks to Dream Theater, I ended up moving up to a six-string bass. So that's my go-to nowadays. I play a Music Man Bongo 6, and I have another six-string bass, a Yamaha RBX, which he also, John Mayen from Dream Theater also used it. So yeah, nowadays my go-to bass, it's a six-string bass. That's kind of how it started.
And I wanted to ask you as well, what's the best way to get a physical copy of the album and any merchandise that you have?
So we are currently on Bandcamp. So that's probably the best place to acquire the album, digitally or any merchandise. We also have our website, which is inchaosband.com. But the physical format, we are probably going to launch that in the near future. When I say near future, anywhere until the end of this year, we'll be
Okay.
then releasing. So we release the digital format now, and in the next couple of months, we'll then release the album itself because we're still kind of, once again, a small band. We're still trying to figure it out if we will be able or if we will afford to have vinyl also, which I personally would love to have,
Sure.
uh, the vinyl of our own band. So until still this year, we'll release it digital, and we'll have it in our website. We'll probably ship it worldwide, whatever people want to. We'll do that.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you if you could give a message to your fans, what would that message be?
Well, first of all, I hope they really dig and enjoy this album because we obviously did it for also for them to enjoy. We certainly enjoy it a lot. So enjoy the album, listen to it over and over again. We made sure that all the lyrics are available even everywhere, even on YouTube. If they go and listen to the songs on the comments below, they have always the lyrics. They have them obviously on Instagram and everywhere on Spotify. But yeah, just get immersed in the album, read those lyrics because we'll end up talking about, what they meant, what they
Sure.
mean to us. And I think it's always interesting that each one of us will interpretate any of our favorite, songs. Um, we'll interpretate those on our own way. But, but it's nice when you dig a little deeper and actually the story behind it, and you kind of almost like take you through the journey of what just probably happened, or what the artist felt writing that. But yeah, enjoy the music, you know um, and wait for wait for the next one.
Well, I wanted to take a moment to thank you personally for delivering an album that I enjoyed from top to bottom. It made me go back into your catalog to check out what you have done previously. Thoroughly enjoyed this album. I think you're definitely on the right track and doing great things, and that's why it was very important for me to interview you today.
Thank you, buddy. Well, it was an honor. Anytime you need. Well, you have a friend in Portugal. If you come to Portugal, let me know. I'll tour you around and take you to have one of those lovely custard tarts that Portugal is known for.
All right.
And obviously, it's a great honor and pleasure, to be talking to you. And hopefully, we'll do it in the near future.
Absolutely. We definitely will. Thank you again, my friend, and you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you too, Mari. Have a good afternoon, and
All right.
see you soon. Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Thank
Cheers.
you.